Hello, everyone. Well, we said we'd be back, and damn right, we're back. As a post-match, game is over. Liverpool 1, Leipzig 0. Another 3 points gained away, and with Villa, the only two teams in Champions League right now that has 9 out of the first 3. Number 2, I think, right now, still doing average, but still a tough away game in some ways. Another one done. Every game we do, everybody says like, "Oh, this was one of the easier ones." But either way, it's the Champions League. We get another 3 points. Interesting game. I don't like. We'll go around and you guys can kind of give me like what you thought of it. It definitely was not the game I expected. Let's put it that way. But Salim, let's start with you. What did you make of it?
It was like the best 1-0 victory I've seen in a while. It was really good from Liverpool's standpoint as far as like controlling the game. I was expecting more from Leipzig. I almost said Leverkusen. Leipzig, and they just didn't have it. They had a couple goals that were offsides, rightfully so. So they don't count. And Darwin was pretty damn good today too. I was screaming about him earlier, and I don't know, maybe I'll scream about him more, man. Shit, if he starts scoring while I'm screaming.
Yeah, he did a good shift, and I thought he did well. I think that penalty, how did that? Initially, I did not think it was a penalty watching it. I thought he made a meal of it. But when you watch it on replay, I was like, oh, damn, it is a penalty. And as I'm waiting for VAR to kick in, they restarted the game. I was like, wait, what? What the hell happened? Like, nobody looked at that thing. I thought it was like a penalty. And I think that would have put the game away. And it could have kind of taken it to a 3-4-0 kind of away. Because, yeah, Leipzig, the quality, I was shocked too. They had a lot of chances to put a ball into the box because of some of our defending. And it looked like, Sergi, every ball they sent in was poor quality, and we cleared it easily. Another team, of course, it's easier to say this afterwards, but like another team might have punished us more. But either way, it's a 1-0 win.
Yeah, it just seems like they turned up, looked at the players on the field, and just crap themselves. And it's like, all right, try and, when you're facing players like Konate, obviously I already know Konate from him being there, and you've got Virgil in front of you, and it was just like desperate balls going in. I think we got lucky on some of the occasions because the final balls, they had good play, good attacking play where they created opportunities, but the final ball was really bad. Or, like a team of Nunes is, and just going offside. So we get away with a few. But I think maybe if we went down, we would have seen more urgency from us. But yeah, we barely came out of first gear or second gear, and it wasn't an enjoyable watch. But it's another away win, another clean sheet away. So it's good.
Yeah, that's the thing. It started really sloppy, and I even put it on Discord that it felt like a game from last year where we're not going to wake up until they kind of score on us. And we had a couple of those scares, still didn't wake up. I know Van Dijk in multiple occasions was going to kill somebody because it felt like those balls were being crossed into the box with no one contesting the ball. It's just that they delivered poor balls in, so it was easier to clear and stuff. But that odd starts in the beginning. Why do you give that to? Salim, we talked about saying the first 15, 20 minutes they can really go at us. It wasn't that they were really having a go at us. It felt like for both sides, it was beyond sloppy.
Yeah, I thought they had like more of the momentum at the beginning, but like slowly, it was just getting chipped away and chipped away and chipped away. And then by the end of the first half, it was like, oh, okay, they don't even belong in the same field as us. But barring a couple potential errors, Kelleher coming out in the first half, like to head the ball when he did not need to.
Yeah.
Konate losing the ball in the second half when I think Sesko had a shot. Kelleher made another good save. For it being such a convincing win, there was potential issues from us, but I think you're right. It was kind of sloppy at the beginning, but Liverpool is definitely clearly a much better team than Leipzig. That's the outcome that we came out with. It's not even close, even though it was 1-0 and maybe could have been 1-1, but it also could have been, like you said, 2-3-4-0 easily.
Yeah, I mean, if you get that penalty, I think it goes downhill from there for Leipzig, because it was already a team that, and I think, we talked about this, they needed points out of this, and they needed probably 3 points out of this. So once they concede, and I mean, their goalie made a lot of some big saves to keep. I mean, the header from Nunez, a couple of like shots we took that he even a couple of deflections that he kind of was able to save, and those go in. I think this is a much easier game, but overall performance-wise, that early slappiness, Sergi, like, what do you allude that to? Is it like, because we did not get out of, I mean, I honestly still think even towards in the second half or the end of the first half, we kind of were like, okay, let's play a little bit more than really going at it. I mean, is it just looking ahead to the weekend? Is it,
No.
like you said, Leipzig kind of crapped the pants because they were like, I thought you guys were going to rotate more, and we didn't.
I think the sloppiness comes from individual errors. And, some of the passing, especially final third, was really sloppy. And, Trent's making a few mistakes with his passes, as was Szoboszlai. So, and I think that kind of accumulated to the sloppiness of the team. But I think complacency as well, because I think we probably thought that Leipzig would come and attack us, and when they didn't, it's like, oh shit, well we have the ball, and what do we do with it now? So we kept possession, and just trying to break them down. And I think that's what it was. I don't know if they're looking towards Sunday. I just think they didn't expect Leipzig to be a rollover, even though the score doesn't suggest it. I think they're probably anticipating a game from them.
Yeah, let's talk about Trent, because I always get a lot of shit because I'm like, probably his biggest critic or whatever. But it drives me nuts when Nunez can understand what we're trying to do. And there were a couple of times where Nunez sees the pass, but he's not going to try it. He kind of like keeps possession and stuff. And Trent is going for the home run every single time, and just like going for these spectacular passes. Whereas then you look at players like Gravenberch and McAllister and stuff like that, players in midfield who actually keep possession, play the simple ball, but still play the through balls, movement after you pass and stuff like that. I just felt that was like the main reason, especially in the first half, we couldn't get anything going, because he would just keep trying these. The guy has unbelievable range, and he has great vision, and he's a great passer of the ball. But you don't have to try to. It's almost like those quarterbacks that try to fit it into like small. You don't have to do that every time. If there's a guy wide open where you don't have to. I don't know what you thought, Salim. I'll know I'll get a lot of shit for this, but I thought this was probably one of the poorest games I've seen from him. Not defensively, but on the ball.
Yeah. I mean, when you have that range, you think you can kind of do it all. So I think maybe there's a little bit of an ego to it, that he's so comfortable with his abilities to do it that sometimes, like you said, the football analogy is a good one. Try to get it into a small window. I don't know. Overall, I really like the guy. I mean, he's there's a lot of qualities of him. Yeah. There is kind of a concerning thing about him going forward like he used to. He's not like a major focal point. So, when we were kind of joking around before the stream went live, we were kind of joking about him leaving, and this isn't necessarily the style of Klopp, with the standpoint of him bombing forward, really being involved. So I think he's like stuck between two minds. Like, am I this? Am I that? But I understand, man. Everybody has a bad game. I think we can just chalk it up to that.
See, I can understand everybody. See, I'm not chalking out to anything. I understand somebody having a bad game where the passes don't go there, but don't try. I think it's the mindset that I just like more irks me than anything else. Because if Leipzig was better on the ball today, those could have been costly. Maybe it's that kind of, this is kind of like an easier game. We're not even that gear. Let me try this one. Let me try that one kind of a deal. But just because you can doesn't mean you should try it, Sergi. And that's basically what I'm getting at. Because there were so many times where he can actually pick up the ball and move forward with it. And then he's like, let me see if I can get this in between these three guys right on top of him and stuff like that. And we've seen him do it before. He can do it, but like you don't have to try it every freaking time, especially when the game is still like 0-0 and we're trying to get ourselves established in the game. And we kept giving away possession over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think because we didn't get punished for it, or he didn't get punished for it, he just kept doing it. Or or even coming close to getting punished for it. So it's like, again, I think it was just complacency, and because he wasn't caught out, he just kept doing it until probably waiting for Slot to tell him like, just stop doing it. It's getting on everyone's nerves to stop. So yeah, hopefully, I think it was a horses for courses performance for him. He just saw a weak opponent and he was just gonna try and bully them, I guess. And I think that's and it didn't come off, and thankfully we didn't get punished for it.
Yeah, because I mean, there's something to that, right? When you're not being challenged as much, especially as much as you're used to, you do kind of, like lower your guard a little bit and maybe play. I mean, there was some really pretty football being played. Sider says he doesn't like it because it didn't produce goals at the end, which I understand the frustration with that. But I mean, some of them was like, man, that was pretty. Like that's fun to watch. That kind of passing and movement and stuff like that. But it all came from. Most of them were like short passes, like movements and stuff like that, give and goes and all that kind of stuff, not like bombing the ball from like all the way across. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Salim. I feel like, this system, the players that have to make the biggest adjustment are probably our right back and left back, right? In terms of playing a bit more position, less risky, less bombing up front and stuff like that. And I do feel like at times they catch themselves forgetting it. You've seen like Robertson and Costa, like Costas did it, I think, last Champions League game. I'm like, dude, where are you going? Like, hold on. We're not all running forward. We stopped doing that a while ago. But you were mentioning it. Do you think kind of like it kind of rubs Trent the wrong way because it kind of takes away perhaps his, biggest talents, assets, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think, the pitch is for players to express themselves, right? I mean, we hear that expression a lot, and we've seen the highest mountain with Trent and how he gets up the right side and the combination play with Mo and just like the shots and the free kicks and the corner. I mean, there's so many layers to his game.
Yeah.
And he's probably irritated. We talked about cars being in what gear. He's probably irritated because he's probably like in third gear and he's like, hey man, like I want to go fast. Like, crank me up a little bit. You know what I mean? So here's the like really what's happening though is like they're clean sheets, man. And that is, you don't lose games if you have clean sheets. And that's awesome to see. It's been a long time, man, being a Liverpool fan where you've seen a rock solid defense that just does not give up goals. And the chances that this team that Leipzig had were, far and few between. And then they were offsides. They were Darwin Nunez just for their team. That guy Openda, man,
Openda,
God, oh, geez. Like Darwin Nunez Jr. right there, man. Like, So
stop giving crap to Nunez, man. He scored for you.
I know. I talked so much shit about him, like before the, in the pregame, and he played really well. But yeah, I think Trent's just like trying to find his way and trying to really like, hey, I got more to give, but Slot's kind of holding him back a little bit for the sake of the team, though. It's not like, hey, Trent, like I don't like you, like there's results being produced with the clean sheet. So.
Yeah, you can argue the results, like you said. And yeah, it is probably having, buying a Ferrari but getting stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic for Trent. So I can kind of see that. But at the same time, I think the results should sell you that. And I don't get the feeling that you see some of the players, and like I say, we talked about it on Discord, if Nunez is getting it, where he's not trying some crazy stuff sometimes and keeping the position, like moving the ball, recycling and stuff like that, when Trent keeps doing it, I just feel like it's more not really buying into the system, perhaps, or still being able to kind of like show your skill within the system. I was saying it in Discord. Just because you make the shot, yeah, it looks fun. Barak was talking about in Discord channel, like it was fun to watch. Yeah, it's fun to watch, but so it's fun, like from shooting from half court, but the result is gonna be very low. Yeah, it's fun when you make it, but you're gonna miss it more often than you make it. Having said that, though, there were some really good performances, especially Gakpo up top, Cersei, Nunez. And then Mo, obviously, he's never gonna. I mean, you can take him off in the 89th minute and he's not happy. But we were talking about it. Somebody has to watch out for him because otherwise he would stay there 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, that was great, especially the Dutch trio. It was like AC Milan's Dutch trio, the right guard and Hullet and Van Basten, and that's what we have. I mean, Gravenberch, this guy, who is he? Like, where was he last season?
Yeah.
This guy is just immense. He just makes football look easy. And now how, Virgil, like, I remember when I was a kid and, we always used to put the worst player in defense because,
Hey, back up. Back the hell up. Back the hell up.
You know what? Virgil made defending look cool and he made it look easy. And
before Virgil, I was making it look cool, but you didn't see those.
Yeah, he's so slick, man. He's like a Rolls Royce. He's so slick.
And Gravenberch is doing the same in midfield and made it look like, we needed a DM for the last 2-3 seasons, and Gravenberch, we had him under our fingers, and he's like, I don't know, there's not enough superlatives to describe his play. And he did well with Curtis Jones on Sunday, which is great. He didn't need Maka there to help him out. And Gakpo, it's such a hard choice. Who do you start? Gakpo, Diaz on Sunday? It's, I mean, Diaz did okay when he came on, but Gakpo was probably man of the match up there with Gravenberch. I don't see how you drop Gakpo. He's so intelligent and just his timings are great. His shots aren't the best, but his overall intelligence and play is brilliant.
Gakpo's sluggish. I think his biggest strength is, he can cut in, Salim, and like crank that shots. And honestly, he has great vision as well. That ball going into, like Mo, and he had a couple of those crosses where they were like, he can send in those crosses. I remember when we first signed them, actually, every highlight I saw off of him was cutting into his right and sending this ball into the box for like their center forward to just nail it in. And so he can send that ball, and he does have the speed and size to challenge you down to the line and stuff like that. So it is a really hard guy to defend.
Yeah, and he's big and strong. Like, there's a lot of great qualities, and his shots, man, they have some thunder behind them. I mean, they're not like they move. Like he really gets puts his laces through the ball. We talked about it on the pre. That's the guy I was more. Him and Darwin were the guys I wanted to see kind of if Cody Gakpo would be challenging Diaz, and it was interesting that Diaz came in for Mo, but that was probably pre-planned. But I was just thought that was kind of interesting that he wants to give Gakpo the game because he's playing that well, and there was a lot of noise before the season about Diaz going to Barcelona, which was a bunch of horse shit because Barcelona doesn't have any money. But I was just like, man, with this guy behind him, or now side by side with him, it's again a good problem, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good problem because there's different skill sets. I mean, I assume Saido's wish is going to come through in the comments, and we will see, based on the fact that Gakpo, played these minutes and Diaz did not. I assume Diaz will be the one going against Arsenal this weekend, Cersei. But they have different styles and different strengths, but definitely don't have to worry about anything on that left-hand side. I know Diaz wasn't that great today, and he's not a player that really thrives coming off the bench as much. But, I mean, he started the season on fire as well. And let's face it, last year we all were complaining about Diaz's, final product, right? Like the assist and the goal and stuff. And he has that this year as well in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, we assume Diaz will start. But Slot being Slot, who knows? He'll probably end up playing Gakpo again. So, but like you said, it's a good problem to have. It's like when England had Kane and Sturridge. Like, who'd you choose? It's they're both just world-class players, and it's a great problem. They both offer something different. So I'm assuming Ben White's playing right back on Sunday, and if it's not working for Gakpo or Diaz, switch him out, and he'll have a new set of problems to do. So yeah, and Diaz is starting to learn how to defend a bit as well, so he helps out. He's still him and Robertson's communication still, I think, lacks. I think the chemistry's still lacking there, even after all these years. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It is fun being a Liverpool fan right now. You know, we have the meanest defense, and you know, it just doesn't look like we're ever going to lose a game. Even though we obviously lost to Forest, but it just feels like we're always in control.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's an odd feeling, but even today, I mean, obviously, you know, I start getting nervous once it's 84 and stuff like that, because, you know, some ball can go freaking like, you know, bounce off of this and that and all that. But it felt, Salim, that it was under control. I kind of actually expected us to counter better. Perhaps not having Mo and Nunez on the pitch at the end of the game hurt in that sense, because I felt when they really started going at us, probably like 70th minute or so, not having those two and not being able to counter as effectively, because we could have probably put the game to bed by just scoring the second one.
Yeah, and they were clearly frustrated. You know, I mean, I think Xavi Simons just wanted out of the game. I don't even think he was like, you know, he got dinged. No, for real, he was so like, you could see just on his face, he was just like, just making these faces, like, you know, like they just couldn't do anything, and it's nice, but like you said, man, 1-0 is a dangerous scoreline. Anything can happen, a weird thing can happen, and all of a sudden it's 1-1. So it's funny, right? Because I said I was thinking like 1-1, 2-2, 3-1, I think was your scoreline, and you said 3-0, right, Cersei? Like all those scorelines could have been real. Every single one could have happened.
Yeah,
you know. So it's just kind of, that's kind of how weird that game was. But the fact that no injuries, everybody got some game time. We got the 3 points. We're top of the table there. And now we're on to Arsenal. You know, it's like just a nice feeling to be done with this. And when we look back, you know, say we make a deep run in the Champions League, we're not going to say, hey, remember that weird game at Leipzig? You know, like we're just going to be like, whatever, it's gone. So
yeah, this is gonna be just like, you know, it's a lot, you know, whatever game, like, you know, it's just another game. But it's good to have, you know, we were talking about it earlier, like, you know, put these games away, get the 3 points, maybe finish the ordeal early in terms of going to the next round, and then, you know, start being able to roll the dice a bit more and rotate a bit more, or should there be injuries and stuff like that. I mean, I guess in that sense, Cersei, as we like try to wrap up over here, I know you're gonna be with the boys tomorrow night, I think, where you guys will probably analyze the hell out of this anyway, but I mean, it's an ideal scenario where you get the win, the clean sheet, like Salim is saying, you get to rotate, you get to do the substitutions probably the way you planned it originally. So I know it wasn't as comfortable as we would like it to be, maybe, but you can't really ask for a whole lot more.
No, clean sheet, no injuries, and another away win. You know, and on to the Emirates next. You know, and you can tell Arteta's already frazzled and is giving it a big talk and so forth. You know, he's trying to get in the heads of Liverpool. He thinks he's trying to get in the heads of Liverpool. So if we're going to play Arsenal, I think now's the best time to play them. Away. So yeah, it's hopefully, you know, now 100% away win.
How about you, Salim? Final thoughts? I know you're going to be on tomorrow night too with Gally for the fantasy show, right?
Yeah. We'll be talking fantasy soccer. I mean, it's so fun. I've been doing it for almost 20 years. I mean, it's so fun.
Did it once and never again. Go ahead.
There's some anyway. No, I think you know, we already kind of spoke about it. We got the points. We're on to Emirates. I'm so excited for this run of games, like to really challenge this team and really challenge this coach, and just to see what we really have. And you know, first 2 games, check. You know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, right? Like we were like, oh, these tough pictures though once we come back, and one at a time they're being knocked out of the way. So yes, can't ask for more. So it should be a fine evening for everybody involved. Do tune in tomorrow night. Check out the boys. Cersei will be joining Mecca and Trevor or Shelton. I'm not sure which is who's the third tomorrow. Okay. And Gally and Salim will be on right afterwards with your fantasy, because you guys don't want my fantasy tips, because I think I'm still starting Cancelo. But have a great day, everybody, and tune in tomorrow night.